could be charming and combative at the same time. What's contradictory between the two? I love to argue. It may well be that I'm something of a shin kicker.
Antonin Scalia has been described as blunt, witty, scathing, sarcastic, and even by his adversaries, brilliant.
He will no doubt be remembered as one of the most consequential judges and thinkers to serve on the Supreme Court.
I care about the original meaning.
He believed in what he called originalism, that the U.S. Constitution should be interpreted exactly as the Founding Fathers understood it. This is what he told Leslie Stahl in a 60 Minutes interview.
I'm not saying no progress. I'm saying we should progress democratically.
You think there ought to be a right to abortion? No problem. The Constitution says nothing about it. Create it the way most rights are created in a democratic society. Pass a law.
In 3 decades on the Supreme Court, Scalia shaped conservatism. The 2008 ruling stating for the first time that the Second Amendment gave Americans the right to own a gun for self-defense, one of his many majority opinions. His dissents were often withering. The opinion legalizing gay marriage, he said, is as pretentious as its content is egotistic. Whenever anyone questioned the court's decision in Bush versus Gore, the case that determined the outcome of the 2000 presidential election, he replied,
"We did the right thing, so there."
Born in Trenton, New Jersey, Antonin Scalia grew up in New York City, in Queens, the only child of an immigrant from Sicily. He met his wife Maureen while he was at Harvard Law School. Devoted Catholics, they have 9 children. President Ronald Reagan appointed him to the Supreme Court in 1986. As prickly as he could be, Scalia was well-liked among his colleagues.
I attack ideas, I don't attack people, and some very good people have some very bad ideas.
His best friends on the court? Liberal justices Elena Kagan and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's Ginsburg and Scalia together on an elephant.
As annoyed as you might be about his zinging dissent, he is so utterly charming, so amusing, so sometimes outrageous. But you can't help but saying, I'm glad that he's my friend or he's my colleague.
He always insisted that his judicial philosophy was dictated by the Constitution only. But his death instantly turned the political arena bloody.
I plan to fulfill my constitutional responsibilities to nominate a successor.
Another Obama Supreme Court appointment could tip the 5-4 majority from conservative to liberal. The Republicans' position? Absolutely clear at last night's GOP debate in South Carolina.
I think that we ought to let the next president of the United States decide.
The Senate needs to stand strong and say, we're not going to give up the U.S. Supreme Court for a generation by allowing Barack Obama to make one more liberal appointee.
Delay, delay, delay.
Antonin Scalia loved a good fight. The battle over who names his successor on the Supreme Court will be huge.